Man behind the bar used to be behind the bar, and I know where I come from that takes away our tongue and says we can't speak what we need. I think we're taught to be quiet in school. We're never taught to listen and speak.
This one ain't working. Too many people avoiding their life, saying I can't be there this night. When you got a big crowd, that's the time I'll come. I want to be anonymous, Thom. I don't want to stand out in a crowd of four. I don't want to have to be addressed by personal name, Ivanho. Yumiko. I want to roll with the tide, you see. I just want to be one with the mob. I want to pay for my South by Southwest ripoff. I want to pay for laminate like a penguin. I want to walk in the queues and wait for the show I'll never get into because platinum and gold get in long before the silver sold out signs on the venues and the little towns known as soul to soul, saying South by Southwest will make you, it'll make you gold. I ain't never seen a band that's been better after South by Southwest than they were before. I ain't never seen them get a record contract, even though they hunger for more. It's just a con job done on the loving young to convince them they can be the golden ones. You too can be Robert Plant. You too can be Stevie Ray. You too can be Janis Joplin. Just pay to play, pay to play, pay to play. And they do. Oh yeah. They pay so often. Finally every musician begins to wonder what's the point of it. I thought I was playing for celebration. No man, you're playing to be part of the industry. Industry? There's an industry? I thought we were just happy. Sorry, you didn't get the memo? This is pay to play. 3 of the words that mean so much. This is Austin today. This is South by Southwest. Read your editorial. They're selling out piece by piece CD by CD, MP3 by MP4. By the format you shall know them forevermore. Musicians, we got plenty of them. How much you want them for? They all pay to play. That's why we don't go to South by Southwest today. Do you remember nostalgia? Do you remember retro? Do you remember the days of the Golden on 6th Street when it was not bought, not sold?
mic is pretty hot.
Yeah, very hot.
I hope it is.
Oh, my.
So, it might be able to get the guitar. I don't know if we can get the guitar in me just to turn it up.
Good towards your voice, that's the important part.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear barely.
Is this against reverb? I think it's reverb.
Good enough.
Probably don't know why I'm hearing more than y'all do, but other than to figure it out and make peace with that and maybe make peace with some other people. On these cold and winter days, also wet, it's easy to curl up beneath the old brown comforters and sort of hibernate. But we got friends who say, come on out and play. Come to places you've never been before. Make that drive up the old eastern corridor where the roads have changed and the signs might not be there like you used to know them. Make some new friends. Go away with the world in your eyes looking different. And in the meantime, sit back, relax. Let the walls of a cathedral room open up to you. Dream of being in the Amazon and the sweaty trees dripping their life down around you. Some days I think, man, we should all move to the equator. I can't imagine that there are those, but maybe there are people in Alaska or the penguins in the South saying, I love the cold. I like being cold and numb to the bone. I like the fact that the sun doesn't set some days, and some days it never rises. And then I think of those folks with their spears and their green antidotes in the heart of the Amazon thing, saying, God darn, I wish those mosquitoes would go away. And then we got those folks over in the Middle East with the sand, who are just saying, man, I wish that sun would chill out a little bit. It's a big wide world out there. And as Stephen Wright would say, I sure would hate to paint it. So in the meantime, you can kick back and do what all the rest of us do and say, this is a troubled world, you know, and there were times in my day I felt like you and you felt like me, and that's the cool part. Because we each open our eyes from a different pillow, and we'll close them just the same. And whether your warm woman in your arms feels like my warm pillow in mine, don't matter too much. It's in between the rain falls and the Amazon, and the snow comes down up in the north. Just a song someday that says there's peace everywhere. And it's good that I have friends that call you out and say, hey man, breathe, move into the morning air. Thanks.
Thanks for coming out. That was great, man. Appreciate it. This is something I started just, ever since they closed Ruta Maya, it just kind of like, man, we need another venue, somewhere to come out so people can be heard, whether it's poetry or, musicians, music or whatever. So I started this on Tuesday here.
Kind of hoping it was Wednesday, but...
Oh, on Wednesday?
Yeah, Wednesday.
Yeah, see, we was talking about that last week, huh?
Anita also doesn't have one on Wednesday. It's on Tuesday, but not on Wednesday.
So you think we should have it on Wednesday?
Wednesday would be great.
Okay. Let's talk. Yeah, I'll talk to
Because right now there's no open mics on Wednesday, but we have one at the Star Bar on Tuesday, we have Breeze on Tuesday, so we have 3 on Tuesday, but none on Wednesday.
We got 3 racks, one
okay.
rock.
Okay, I'll talk to him. Maybe we can have it just change it up on Wednesdays.
Plus,
Wednesdays are good for me too, so.
Plus we can pull from Rolling Rock, they have a Tuesday up there, they have one up there. But then people will come down here on a Wednesday.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And you can draw from both areas.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that. I'm just gonna make something up, man. It's like,
Go ahead.
you see, sometimes I get really tired of stereotypes and stuff. Conversation at work goes, man, hey, Amico, man, why don't you tell them how it is in the hood? Just assuming that I knew what the hood was, but I grew up on a Cherokee reservation, so like, I don't know. See, he thought just because I'm the darker complexion that I know about ghettos and hoods and everything, but little does he know that I grew up in a little place called Akana Left Indian Village in North Carolina. See, my grandmother was Cherokee. So my mom's Cherokee, my dad's from Jamaica. So we call ourselves Jamerikees. We're just mixed, man. Don't give me no things about rap songs. Give me no shit about where I'm from. I am an American, part of this nation. Don't give me no shit though about where I'm from. See, we keep falling into this whole stereotypical thing that what you see in the radio, what you hear on the radio, and what you see in rap videos, all these guys, they're all sagging, they're all thugs, and everybody's just all like having this swagger and all that stuff, man. Don't believe the hype, right? Because like, all of us are not like that. I wasn't raised like that for one thing, because they wasn't having that kind of stuff on the reservation anyway. There was always respect for elders, and we played outside a lot. We jumped in rivers and creeks, and we went all the way through the Appalachian trails. I know like the back of my hand. I was there when I was like until I was about 12 years old, and then we moved to Asheville, North Carolina. But that's still up in the Great Smoky Mountains, if you guys ever been there. It's beautiful. Then I come to Austin. They call it the hill country. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I know.
Are those hills? Coming from the Tar Heel State, you can, you know, big difference. But you know what? I would rather live here in Austin than in Houston or in Dallas. You know? Austin still has that good old hippie vibe, you know. It's kind of growing up a little bit too fast, but I remember when I first got here, the poetry venues was just alive and well, the open mics were alive and well, and everybody was just doing their thing, man. But somewhere along the way, corporate America started coming in. So these developments get built downtown, and who can afford those places, man? It's like, it's crazy. But like now, I'm a photographer. I've been shooting for like 10 years, so I have a studio and everything, right? So I met one person who lived downtown, and it was this model that I was shooting. She was only like 19 and her parents paid for it, and I'm like, how much is that a month?
Yeah, how much is it?
She pays $2,400 a month. I'm like, don't you know you can get a house north? A nice house at that.
Yes.
But she was all caught up into, I gotta be downtown where all the happenings and stuff are, where everything is, where everything is. Well, right now I live out in Davis Springs near Avery Ranch. And I love it out there. It's so quiet. You can hear a pin drop. It's so quiet. You can hear when a cat stops. See, that's pretty cool though. I like that mellow vibe. See, I'm a 60s and 70s kid when you had groups like The Temptations, The Association, if you know who those guys were. You know, I was even listening to Helen Reddy, go figure, you know. But see, but there was no distinction between radio stations back when I was growing up, because you can listen to Elvis Presley, James Brown, and Janis Joplin all on the same station. Because it was all about good music back then. Now they have your hip-hop station, your rock station, your country station, segregation stations. It's crazy. They should just all just put us in a big bowl and just mix us all up. And another thing I want to get straight. I was born in North Carolina.
Yes.
Okay? I'm an American.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I am not African American.
No.
I am an American. Okay, I don't hear no Euro-Americans. What happened to that title? You know? So I don't believe in titles, man. Let's just all just get along. Let's just all participate in this big old thing and create a beautiful song. Take it away, Mr. Guitar Man.
They're all on their own independent mental islands. It's hard to reach out and put a bridge across and say, hey, do you remember the Cherokee? Do you remember the indigenous people? Well, we had indigenous people too long before the white curse came. White bread, white sugar, white flour, white cancer, white blood cells. Do you remember that? Oh no. There goes the neighborhood, my friend, because the hood has been displaced again. Just like the bison and they are still hunting men down. Done by the blacks to the blacks. I was in Bristol when I saw the beginnings of the slave ports. Then they wouldn't tell them after the Civil War. It took a year to tell you you were liberated. They celebrate that called Juneteenth, and they assume that every white person is not pink. We're not white, we're pink. We've got pigmentation. You're not black, you're bronze and brown, man, across the color spectrum. Get it right. Can't your eyes tell you what you're really seeing? Can't your ears tell you what you're really hearing? I know a trend to listen in, but the NSA is training us to listen in to conversations, even though you're not privy to the transaction. We may all be American, but I'm an astral American. Try explain that. For all the people claiming their ancient heritage, well, I've got one that goes back at least 200 years, if not more than that, to the island of my beginnings. My mother's got French heritage, but she's an orphan. She can't trace back her beginnings at all. I went back to Ireland to understand where I came from, but everywhere I look they say you are a Australian. What's a man to do when they won't even let you be what you are? I say to them, look, just try to understand, man. I'm walking in the land, man. I'm connecting to my own dreaming. I come from a dreaming land where there were boomerangs in the pyramids, and all the indigenous, they understood the dream lines, the ley lines, and the pattern of habitation down where the water is, and the signs and symbols of their education. Didn't need no schools, no hospitals, no orphanages, no asylums, no prisons at all. No, they had scarification. If you caused harm to someone, the Kardashian man would put a spell on you, and then you would mysteriously suffer through the actions of your own effects upon another. And I see this in this culture. Those who kill another, they kill that part of themselves inside themselves, and so they don't understand capital punishment is just a natural process, man. That's the way it works, and where you come from doesn't define where you're going to. We're all in journey. When I reach to you, I know you all have different origins and culture, and I would like to learn from you like sister, brother. That holds us reaching out to each other in here, speaking out truth to the others who really want the full view. They don't want a half truth, but really, would you? No. Glow, yo. You got the lights? Well, on with the show, yo. We're all in this together. There is outside the cold and icy weather, inside the warm and dark. There's a human spark, you call it living art. You come and take the part on the open mic. Do what you like, your culture here tonight is so creative. Find that part of your heart that speaks your spark.
This is one that eventually I'll hope to maybe make it into a song. I'm going to do it as a poem. I wish I were a kid again. I wish I were a kid again, to dance in the gentle rain, splashing my thoughts up with the winds, flying kites into blue skies with tails at toll of telephone poles, riding bicycles down dark trails, ripe with imaginations to wander with, slaying the monsters within your dream with the magical swords of wood. I wish I were a kid again, to camp with the trees around the fire that spirits would seek, in the stories that would make my hide creep, to swim across the ocean in a pond that the Loch Ness Monster was in, to grab the tail and twirl my way like a water slide. I wish I were a kid again, that my mother would hug my blanket into my dreams of fairy tales, where the tooth fairy would give me the candies that smiles came with, and in a tender kiss on the cheek, my world was protected for the night. I wish I were a kid again, to play a ball game with my dad that would send the ball clear around the world in the sun, to catch my father's love like a leather glove, and in all the pride that comes with the old man coming young again. Yes, I wish I were a kid again, Thank you, Mom and Dad. For the kid in me lives slaying his monsters and still feels tucked in, playing the golf ball game called life. Shakespearean seduction. Shakespearean drama does embroil words, scorned inside lovers' thorns, among twisted sagas of intertwining desire, where lust sets verse on fire. Hypnotic sense in reflections, incensed by sonnet cadences, bearing arousing words in rhythmic poetic patterns that resonate in histrionic personification. Poetry's aura of forevermore, set adrift in literature's flower point stage presence, in sensual vibrations of meter and rhyme, singing aloft, woven weave verses in stanzas that beguile love's mystery, in feminine love me not, that meanders in the bed-spring pleasure of to and fro metrical movements. Oh, the woe in a woman's moans that weathers a man's groaning transgression within the alabaster white ivory breast of Shakespearean seduction. Satirical tragedy of vices and follies in masculine and feminine fantasies that bemoans the groans and bewitching liaisons of partition or puritanical partaken, that from the beginning roots of the poetic English language, Shakespeare did stimulate the strength of romantic rhyme among the enticing romance theatrics, that verse that has endured the wrath of time, in the swath-bearing poetic rhyme, where love has formed literature's epic climaxes upon the lip-moon's sensual sway. To be or not to be a poet, that is the question. Were all the worlds of poetic stage, that you are a lover of poetry, to bar Cupid's wings, what if in the name, what has not love, Shakespearean verse? Who taught thee how to make me love thee more, to love the mastery of literature verse in Shakespearean seduction?
My love affair with Shakespeare. This one's for you, Dave. Okay. Everybody says, man, you should read that William Shakespeare. So I did. I watched the movies, Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet, Macbeth, Pulaski's version. And I thought, wait a minute, why don't I go talk to William? Hey, Bill. No reply. So I go to England, go down to Warwickshire, where he was born. No reply. So I go down to Stratford-on-Avon. Now at this particular time I'm living in Birmingham. I'm sleeping on the floor of a community squat. It's winter. I watch the snow rising over the winter, breaking the pipes and killing off the pensioners. This was the time I tried to be a comedian because I get 100 quid for being funny. So I go on stage and talk about death, which to me is the funniest thing of all. And I die on stage, so it's doubly funny, right? But I digress. I wanted to see Shakespeare. So I get the bus from Birmingham down to Stratford-on-Avon. And I go to see the original Shakespeare players doing Much Ado About Nothing. Now the problem is this, public transport ends at 9:30 in England. I've got to get back to Birmingham to sleep on the floor, squat. So I saw Much Ado. I never saw the Nothing. And that's the way it is with William Shakespeare. People I know, they have the movies in their mind. They were made by Leonard Bernstein, the West Side Story. Romeo and Juliet is West Side Story. Made the Japanese movies, Throne of Blood is Macbeth. King Lear is the Kurosawa's Ram. They steal from Shakespeare because Shakespeare stole from everyone else. He stole from Hollinshead's Chronicles, he stole from histories, he
He stole from other playwrights. And like Bob Dylan, he was a good thief. He made things better. And he was part of the love triangle. There was this woman who had the pox, a courtesan. He loved her lots, but she was sleeping with another man. So he wrote these poems about the love lost, about the woman never be close to him. And they're the sonnets. They never meant to be published, but no one to hear in his lifetime. Isn't that like love? That you want to be private, not everyone peeking in your bedroom. They ain't talking about Will. They talk about those beautiful sonnets. How incredible they're the peak of the language, the English language. But how many have read all 101? None. And how many people know the story behind the eternal love triangle? People live that love triangle. They love a star and they end up with the sun. They love the sun and they end up with the moon. They love their children, they end up with parents. They love their parents, they end up with children. It's the eternal triangle. Talking about couples therapy, there's always 3 people involved. What's going on there? Relationships, that's like the Titanic in the Lusitania. Often sinking into doubt, fear and hesitation. No, it's not a love poem, is it? It's a lack of love poem. It's a failure of love poem. It's where love goes when there's no love to glow. And what you know is, the point of your life, the point of love, and the point of comedy and tragedy and William Shakespeare is that we are the foundation of all these things. And our interactions and our relationships are the beginning of all the soap opera of our days, the restless tears, the days of our wives, the Peyton Place, the little reality shows where people cheat on people, they cheat on each other, they cheat themselves, everybody's cheating. And that, you can find that when the movies come to Shakespeare and they make another bad version of Romeo and Juliet or Moulin Rouge, and they take Shakespeare and they put it in 2014 and everyone recognizes it. Yeah, I remember that, I was like that until I woke up and suddenly you hear the phone ringing, you realize you're in the middle of a scene, in the middle of a dream, and you're spinning live like little Shakespeare in his own time. 17th century man, wrote on quills, wild man. We never met him, man. But I went there to his home, I saw the statue inside the church that says, do not touch my bones. And I know, and you know, that we will never know. But why he stole from is still in our bones, our DNA and heritage. Yes, the way we relate to each other will be a comedy of tragedy. So put your drama on the stage tonight, find a way to sway tonight, and make that a real tonight. You'll be up, William Shakespeare will live again inside this spinner scene. You see our dreams are as real as you can be when you talk to another human being gently and say this and sweetly. The sonnet of your life is a private thing that is solitary. Oh, so privately. Sweet love, would you be with me? I would, but I'm with Will Shakespeare, can't you see? I'm dreaming privately. I was watching all these movies, I was reading his plays, and suddenly, here comes Titus Andronicus. Here comes King Henry IV, Part 1. Here comes Othello, oh, that drunken, jealous man. And there's poor little Hamlet again. Everything is bodies on the stage. It's just like our age, it's just like every other age that plays the theme, wherein we'll catch the conscience of the king has gone, but still we have some royals on the throne, presidential. I did not have sex with that woman, stains on a blue dress. They call you liar, my lord, they call you liar. And you courtesan, And you Hillary, will you run? Will you run to be the Queen of America? Will you be the Dairy Queen of America? Will you be the Burger King of America? Will you be the royalty of America? Everyone will bow to you. They will say they defer to you. William Shakespeare knew. It's just our age. Turn another page. William Shakespeare is you.
Valentine's Day, he spent $600. Valentine's Day, he spent $600. And see, now he doesn't have any lights to keep his lights on in his house, so he's walking around in the dark. He has a broken heart because the lady he spent $600 on is already with somebody else. You see, he fell off the man shelf. But then he starts to think, well, there's 365 days in a year, and for 364 I was with you. And then you ask me, what did you give me for Valentine's Day? One day. One day. Because he was out working 3 jobs to support the habits that you have that he can't have, so he missed one day. Think about it. The only thing I remember about that day is Mafia hit St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Do we really want to celebrate that one day? See, because if I'm with you, it's 365 days that we're going to be celebrating of love, peace, and joy and togetherness, not just one day. One day, you're going to realize and wake up. One day, you're going to realize and see that I love you for who you are. You're my wishing star. We can go so far. See, it's one day. One day. When are you going to wake up and see me for who I am? When are you going to see that love runs so deep in my veins that if I exhale, you'll see angel wings floating in the sky. See, you're the love of my eye, and you can't see that though. One day, one day, one day.
I came to play, so I better actually play. Work thing, life's got to be work. I like behind the concept of oneness? Can't say I feel it very often. But when there's a room full and a guitar in the background, I think I know it. The real beauty is the oneness only comes from the togetherness. When we're all gathered around an open mic or a turkey, say, or a picnic blanket, humming a song to ourselves in our head, off deep in the background there's a sound, sort of like a man I've just met, sharing a bit of his soul. One song, so many faces. It's easy to be melancholy about it, but it ain't such a thing as melancholy. And this is still work. Every human being worth their weight, not in gold, but in goodness, tries to do the right thing no matter what. I think I'm reminded of that because I just saw Outlander the other day and it smacked so much at high noon. When you're standing up against the odds of the world, whether it be because you have a job that you don't like, and you're complaining to yourself that, man, I deserve something else. Or you have no job because you want one, because you think it exists out there somewhere. Just wrote a note to myself today, wisest thing I've said in a long time. I'm going to get over this whole idea that if you only knew what I do, the world would feel so much better. One of the myths I got to leave behind, just like I left behind the starving artist, or did it take some sort of suffering to get a peace of mind? It's the joy that really counts. And we can fade into the walls, or we can open up like a dream come true. I don't know what time it is any more than you do. There's something in the middle of this eye that's not the one you see before you, but the one behind you, in your dreams, in your mind, in the places you wish you were, or wish you'd see. My father, he's seen the whole goddamn world. Comes home every other time he leaves. How much does it take to know that the flower grows inside you? Maybe this is the plaything I'm talking about. Playing with the idea that the world is just a mind, and the mind is just a world, and it's all just one big old blue-red song on the side of the hill on a sunny day, and we're all dreaming. Because these guitars don't weep, they sing. I've seen children sleep, my own, and I've gone in, and in the tenderest way I could, smell their hair. You want to be home, take a deep breath, let it all out, be aware. Sorry, Tom, that was sort of loud. I'm glad I'm here, you guys. And I don't know where I'll be 2 moments from now or 2 seconds from now. Funny you want to put a name on it or a word on it. Just someone saying goodbye,
Scott. Thank you very much indeed. I mean, I'll listen to karaoke. It's the same. But when people make things up, it's not. What's with that? I'm in love with the other. You know what I mean? People go to South by Southwest. I like the other. Let me explain. What I do when I don't leave town during South by Southwest during spring break, what I do is I walk along the street and let my ears listen to every door and every window. I see the lines of people with laminates and I walk past and I dare not smile because they are so serious. They really want to be happy inside a crowded room with laminates, like penguins. Now I'm happy in the outside world with the others, the ones that don't fit in, that don't fit in squares and rectangles. I look at a skyline and I think that's got nothing to do with us. That's a high-rise condominium for Californians. I ain't no valet park and joke mode, no, I ain't no poetry karaoke no more. I am an original creator. And in this moment on February 13, 2014, I'm so glad to have 5 conscious souls so close. Why? Because there's an invisible conversation between your silence and my speaking. Because any time you can get up and share your own dreaming, because there's a certain equality when every person is dreaming and they know exactly what it is that I'm really, really saying. You need to be creating. Otherwise, you are occupied by other people's programs. Other people making you afraid of the NSA. Other people make you afraid of people you never meet today. They make you smaller because they say you've got to buy and sell. And all you're doing is giving and begging, and that's a beautiful story to tell. When you are original creatures, that's what I like. I don't like the mainstream, I like the other stream. I like the stream of consciousness. I like the dream of all creative beings. I like to watch it evolving. Now, I've heard your jazz and your trip-hop. I've heard your rip and rap and rip-hop. I've heard all the various conjugations and grammatical constructions, but all I ask is original. What they give me is cliches. I ain't gonna talk about hoes or gold chains or bling or ring. I ain't gonna talk about stretched limo, no. The only drugs I've got are diabetic. And the only things I'm addicted to is sugar, and salt, and food. And these drugs, I know they'll kill you, man. I know that they're dangerous and they're handed out by merchants. But when it comes down to what people are served, I gotta tell you what I want is, I want the other. I want the wild bird of paradise handed inside our rainbow lives. I want everything to come real right here, right now, tonight. I cannot wait for the next life, second life or not. I ain't waiting for no heaven, no hell, no limbo, no purgatory. No concepts that are old and antediluvian. They will not do me. I don't care if the Pope gives away all his wealth that wasn't his to begin with. I know that all those saints and martyrs, well, they probably had scandals they're covering up. But that don't matter to you, it don't matter to me. What matters is what you really love. That's what defines you in this world. What is it you really love? That's what holds you in this world. I had a poet friend who said, Thom, you are what you hate. And I said, no. You are what you love. And she said, no. We are both what we hate and what we love. We walk between the dark and the yet. We walk between the darkness and the light. We keep on walking down the journey of life. And we never get there until finally, the big sleep comes, and the big dream comes, and we forget everything. We're born again as a crocodile. We wake up and forget everything we've ever learned. And that was yesterday. And ever since I've been born, I realize what I love. And what it is I love the other, the as yet uncreated. The creative ones who are exploring and who are brave enough to say it. We are uncertain. This is not perfect, but we are walking, and we will walk forever until there's public transport. What do you love? What holds you in this world? What connects you to all the people
people around you? What is it that makes you shine, glow, and smile in a world that's given up and talking apocalypse and Armageddon, that wants to destroy themselves, destroy everything around them? How come you come to poetry and music and art? You think it'll save you? It's just a little dream like a child wrapped up inside of you, wanting to speak and to be heard, wanting silence and the word, tapping, ask, are you there? And you say, yeah.
See, people used to say, or they say, what about on how it used to be? Remember those groups back in the day, like the Temptations, Jackson 5? They always talk about how it used to be, what used to be can be now. See, I remember back in Austin, back in the day when poetry venues were full of people and poets and crowds, and everybody used to come out and perform, and me and Thom, we were right there. We were in the midst of all the poetry. Do you remember, Harold, when we had the open mic up on top of the roof?
Yes! Word jazz on the roof.
Word jazz on the roof. It was crazy. It was just crazy. Poets would come out and everything was all good. And, you know, we used to have the old Ruta Maya on 4th Street. Just crowded. Poets, musicians, getting along. Love, peace, everybody. And then one day, I went to go to Ruta Maya on 4th Street, and then there's a place called Halcyon.
Halcyon.
What the hell? Did I pronounce it right? I go up in there, and there's like people in suits and ties, and I'm like, is there a poetry reading here? And the guy, he just kind of like looked at me like, huh? And he's like, oh no, that I think that was the old Ruta Maya. Okay. And then so we went to the new Ruta Maya, and everything was lively and love, and poets would come out to perform, and musicians, they had an open mic, and it was just beautiful, and we would just perform out on the porch there, and we would just make up songs and lyrics and just go off, and everything was just beautiful. And I went one evening to take my daughters, because I've been taking them to Ruta Maya ever since they were little. Thom used to see them, they used to run around and stuff and play on the chairs and everything and stuff, and they had little toys for the children to play on, and everything was just beautiful. And so then one day I took my daughters, you know, they're kind of grown now, you know, 17, 18, you know, 2 in college. And so we go to that Ruta Maya, and there's nobody in there. There was a guy in there sweeping. I was like, hey, when is the open mic? He's like, oh no, the Ruta Maya's closed, we don't know. And he just had this look on his face. I never been, he was, no, Ruta Maya's closed. It's like, man, what's going on? I'm not understanding. Then we used to go to the Hideout. Remember the Hideout?
Yes, we were there at the Hideout.
Do they still have the Hideout?
No, they threw us out. They got nothing.
Something is definitely wrong when word can't be spoken.
Yes. Yes.
Something is definitely wrong when words can't be heard.
Yes.
Let's bring the used to be back today.
Sometimes, you know, for me at least, there's something in me that projects me into this place, into this world, and oftentimes those projections get entered on computers and mailed out to people. And then later I that was not a bad idea. That was actually pretty cool. I want to talk about one that happened last night that I think is pretty good. I think something we all know. Deep inside us, there's a space. It's big, bigger than my arms, bigger than this room, world, planet, whatever. An openness. It's an acceptance of the fact that I, in my world, have, will, and never, certainly ever, will move. I will never move. All that really happens is the world spins around us, through us, in us, forward in us. I began here, I will end here, and in the process things just circulate around us. New faces, faces that remind me somehow mysteriously about the people I've known. I see a face and say, wow, he looks like somebody I've seen before. And in the background there's the darkness just sort of moving around. Somewhere back there, there's a child being born.
Yeah.
He fast forwards to this place. Somewhere far ahead, there's a body dying. It's all the same guy. This is the middle place. This is the place between the beginning and the end. When all that history gets whirled and swirled around, and the man says, I share the same consciousness as him. Calvino, Boris, the old blind Austin writer, Shakespeare, whoever's going to, those Star Trek people call the future writers 2,000 years from now, those guys do. They're all the same guy. So what do you do? How do you spend your time? What do you want to open up and say? I love it all. I love that I have to somehow find a way to enjoy cigarette butts. And I have. Now I find myself saying, I tore apart my freshly hand-rolled, machine-rolled cigarette just so I could smoke it in my pipe. Because I had gotten used to it, by golly. I like cigarette butts worse. Let's make shit up. Let's talk about the stuff that happened so long ago. I wrote about it back then, but don't remember it. All the faces. And this is one of the nice things about being a moment poet. You forget everything. So everybody looks new, and everybody looks fresh, and everybody looks like they're just brand new. You find yourself bubbling around. I told my kids the other day my teeth were pebbles. So later when I said my teeth were dirty, they said, yes, Daddy, but they're just pebbles.
Yeah.
The middle place. The middle place where everything's really already happened. And you know there's a part of you that is asleep. And yet there's a part of you that's just waking up. So maybe it has nothing to do with wakefulness or sleepy-headedness. It has to do with being comfortable. I find myself over the last several days saying, I don't want to be alive or dead. I don't care. I don't want to be dead. I know that. I don't want to be living either. I just want to be comfortable. I want my kids to stop fighting. I want some peace and quiet. I want more old cigarette butts so I can smoke the way I really the hell want to. I'm glad to be here, and I will say it to myself over and over again, so somewhere in the distant future when I question that, and I say to myself, God darn, maybe I don't want to be here anymore. I'll have said it enough and reiterated it enough to myself to where it'll come back to haunt me. Good reason to record shit, by the way. You see it later and go, wow, a long time ago when you were at the open mic, you were very happy. Oh, thank God I'm watching it again.
Yeah, that's what we do. Do it.
Just like how we talk.
Yep. Yeah.
Have you seen the latest ad from, it has something to do with Valentine's Day or Jared. He went to Jared. He had better, or else maybe he'd be beheaded. But she commented that he made all the other men in the office look pretty dumb. And I'm thinking, not only do I have to go to Jared, pick something out that I think you like, but now I'm in a competition with all the other men that I don't know, have never seen, don't care about, and I have to beat them. I have to beat them because there's bragging rights involved. I didn't know. Now, if I knew that there were bragging rights involved, what I would have said is, since this is my first time, will you pick one guy in the office that I have to beat?
Yeah.
Just one.
Yep.
So I have a reference point. And then maybe you can brag on one instead of all the men. Random thought.
Very good thought, Paul.
Where is Cupid? I don't know where Cupid lives or where he's from, but maybe I think I saw him on the side of the highway doing this. If the divorce rate is over 50–60%, I kind of wonder what arrows he's using. Maybe it's the poison dart frog arrows.
Yes.
Because if he was using what he was supposed to be using, which is supposed to be magical, and has a tail of flutter following it, there'd probably be a lot more love.
Yep.
Maybe. I don't know if as human beings or whatever, we can necessarily love someone else, because you and all of you that only you know, and some of which you will never share, is immediate to you. And you have that to overcome before you can say, hey, you ever tried saying I love you without the I?
Oh, good.
It's difficult. So, as I said, I was wondering, where is Cupid? And not only where is Cupid, but what is he thinking? You know, if he's drawing back that bow, I think maybe he has a pirate's patch on one eye. So his aim might be off. So I may get the arrow for Betty, when maybe it should have been Catherine. So I go out with Betty. Things are just kind of not right. Do I blame it on Cupid, even though I don't believe he exists? But I saw him on the road doing this. Or do I blame me? And if I don't blame me, do I blame Betty? Maybe it's not Betty's fault, maybe it's Catherine.
But you love them.
But I haven't even met her yet.
That's the best love. He's gonna call.
Hidden love?
Yeah.
That's why I asked, where is Cupid? Maybe Cupid's wings are red. Maybe Cupid is not a land creature.
Yeah, flying.
Maybe he or she flies underwater.
Good point.
And if she does, I think a mimic octopus could do just about the same thing.
Hey! Woo!
That was brilliant.
Good thoughts.
Boy, you're tall.
Yeah, there was no murder.
Desert alliteration. Streaming sun blistering, storm thundering on the horizon, sounding off with anticipation, streams of dust baking, sterile scene bleached off white. Fast-moving wall of water flooding from mountain hideouts. From torrential downpour comes foaming suffocation, fearsome flow of devastation. Blossoming wasteland of renewed life, brilliant colors of revitalization, budding cactus flower, bursting hidden vegetation, brief display of a desert paradise. Winds drying up moisture, washing away teardrops, whispers again hiding, weather blaring in heat strokes, wounded plants again wilting. Night sky is so crystal clear, never has so many stars been visible. Noises from animals awakened, noting the evening chill, nuzzling their existence. Full moon rising to coyote howls, flames from a campfire crackling, frames of words creating vivid images, finding truth in someone's expressions. For tranquility is in the moisture of living. Vintage bouquet. Wilt thou flower a vintage bouquet within your poet persona that has weather affluent aging so majestic within a vintage bouquet, where writers wrinkle thoughts that are set adrift poetic perfection, sensing sensual solitude in a rhyme-wrapped package, sharing a time-warped peaceful presence. Poetry's wildflower blossom, so pure inside the tranquil heart, where insights a quill harmony, heartbeats are set aflutter, livid imagery that alliterates a light, the bright melody, prancing in reflective reflections of lyrical composition that composes a poet's soul. To be that inspired free-spirited poet that will take paths less taken, and who challenge the status quo within an inherent independence creed that will never surrender a poet's free will, but demonstrates the true grit precision of PowerPoint penetration in pronunciation, in a poetic mastery of vocal vocabulary that makes vintage wine that savors poetry. The greatest gift a poet has is to create seedlings from within the mind that transplants into readers, where it germinates into a sprouts that creates roots within another generation, that within age, with poetic pruning, where we create another vintage bouquet.
Yeah. He's getting the hunger now. He's getting back into it. It's wonderful.
Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. But bro, nah, she just went to the store, yo. So why do you keep tripping off your girl when she leaves for a few seconds?
Yeah.
Is it the insecurity? See, I wonder why they wonder about stuff like that. This kind of trips me out.
Yeah.
Being so insecure. I have friends like that.
Yeah, I feel that.
I tell them, hey man, my fiance, she's going to Vegas with her job for about a week, you know. What, you worried?
What?
No, we've been together for like 13 years, bro. You know, you have to come to a point to where, you know, people are going to do what they're going to do regardless. You can't control nobody's actions. They're going to do what they're going to do.
Yep.
So it's you to decide to accept those actions and just live life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, that's how that happens.
Yeah.
But I see my friends all the time and they're like, I'm like, man, what's wrong with you? Oh man, I just called my girl, man, she ain't called me back. Only been 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? I'm not understanding that whole thinking process. I was just talking to this guy yesterday. He said the same thing. No, I was doing a photo shoot. Okay, I'm on a photo shoot.
You getting your headshot?
No, I was actually shooting this model. She's a model. She has a boyfriend, a worried boyfriend. So we're out shooting out at Windy Point. So he calls. He's like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I'm shooting." And he's like, "Okay." She goes, "We're out at Windy Point shooting." Well, why are you shooting out there? And so she had to explain to him the whole theme of the shoot and everything. And I'm telling her, I'm like, "Look, that's you're gonna deal with that." You know? She's like, "Oh, it's getting on my nerves." So it's like sometimes you just have to let people breathe. You know, you have to let them create. You have to let them do their art and stuff like that. And so it was just crazy, you know. And then he hangs up. 5 minutes later, he calls back, and that right there was like me on the other end. You know, I can just imagine me being on the end, like, "Man, why are you calling her back?" It's only been 5 minutes, but just to see the other side of it, and she's just like really getting frustrated. So just let them breathe, let them live, let them do what they do.
Oh, yeah.
I want to respond to the Cupid one. That was a really good thought. But it was, wasn't it? Because myths are lies, but all people believe in myths. Okay, we make up myths like the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus and Cupid, which don't exist and never have existed, but they're archetypes within us. Because we really want there to be some little pedophile baby going around half naked, shooting arrows at people. I mean, if you ever think about the symbology of our culture, it's a scary thought. I mean, Santa Claus, an old man with a beard climbing down your chimney to leave socks full of things. There are no chimneys for a start. The elves are on strike. The deer cost too much. And people send things by Amazon these days, not by Santa Claus. Okay? But what you have to do is update our cliches, because most of us, I am, living in inadequate apprehension of the world that we're walking through. You mentioned before about Rudimar. There is no Rudimar anymore. After the chapter you mentioned, way up above expose, when we did the poetry karaoke on the front porch for years and years, and that was a beautiful, beautiful time, they shifted to a trailer van down Golden Creek Park, and on an open-air stage, we went outside and did poetry outside the trailer. Still, they didn't make money, and that was what was important to them, but we made poetry, man. We made poetry and music like we're making it now, contacting the poet and musician inside every person around us, and it worked, but it would seem that everything is lodged in its own time. Like Jack Kerouac hated hippies, and Janis Joplin and Jim Morrison and Brian Jones, and Jimi Hendrix, they all died at 27. And they had to go because the next age was rather dark. And as things swallow up the spark of human life, you begin to say, well, we know at least it happened then. We know that we were exposed to goodness and kindness and intelligence and altruism and cooperation then. It happened then. Therefore, it can happen. It has happened, and it can happen again. The same as the alchemy of what you were exposed to allows you to create this moment and this space and this sanctuary for the holy thought and the secular dream. Because you were exposed to that radioactive knowledge that everything is possible. The fact that these people are here because they recognize that this has validity in 2014, not in 1992 or 2002. In this moment, in this night, in this year, in this February, it is right and proper to ask where Cupid is. Because there are no wet hitchhikers anymore. If you were naked like a little baby hitchhiking down the street on I-35, people look at you rather peculiar and think, what the hell is that guy doing trying to hitchhike on I-35 dressed like a little baby with a bow and arrow on his back? The TSA and the APD would have you nailed down. The CIA would wrap you up as terrorists. Because the myth's inadequate. It doesn't cover us no more. So what do? We settle for chocolate. We settle for
Sugar, sugar. Be my sugar, baby. Be my sugar. Be my sweet. Be my sweet. Be my baby. Baby has a baby. The grandmama's a mama. Messing with our blessing. And this is happening because it's inadequate understanding and apprehension of the world we're living in. We set up the cliches and we say, I'll have an iPhone in my hand. I can understand the world then because I can contact it any time. I can contact outside the reality I'm actually in. I can contact someone outside this building. I can be in contact with a grid, with a network that's bigger than me. I can be plugged in, but you don't realize you're being plugged into. That GPS goes straight to the NSA. Every piece of information you've got may be monitored today. This phone call may be monitored. All phone calls are being monitored. Live in a world where your email is being read by a person you'll never meet. You never gave permission for it, did you? But they don't care. They've got a black budget. If they gave up that budget, where would all those black helicopters go? Where would all that expenditure, the TSA at airports strip searching you, physically assaulting you? Doesn't anyone notice? If you did that out of uniform, you would be up for criminal assault, touching people up, putting their private parts on x-ray. That's pornographic. That's voyeuristic. It happens every day at Austin Bergstrom Airport. And who's going to do anything about it? Cupid? Is Cupid going to fly in with his little dart and say, it's St. Valentine's Day, why don't you all love each other? You know the arrow is a lie. You know the bow is a myth. You know there ain't no baby out there wanting you to love each other. The last person who said that got nailed. I'll say it again. Love one another.
Disconnected theory. Two of you I know at least, one more than another, that I've had to detach from quite a few things over the last year. To the newcomers here, what we're doing is absolutely nothing as best we can. So, in the middle of all this, humor, goodwill, love, faithfulness, joy, and everything, where does music fit in? Is it just the sound that the stars make on a cloudless night? Or something else? Is it the feeling that the blood gives you as it pulses through your veins? And just for a little bit, I'll pretend like I do know something. Which I'll preface that with I don't know a goddamn thing, but I'll pretend like I do. Music is that thing that you're willing to talk about, whether it be a book you read, or a film you saw, or a child you love, or a woman, or a cupid, or whatever. If you love it and you put your heart into it, then as far as I can tell, that's music. Now those of us out here in this big world, because I'll include them, the stars are just us, though we like to call them as something, think of them as something else different and not ourselves. They really are just us. Those guys, all they did was just say it with a lot of gusto. I knew a carpenter did the same thing. They pretty much strung him up. My joke on that front is, man, what a cool job. All they have to do is hang out. So music, back to the topic at hand, it's the thing you love to do the best. And it makes you feel like singing. And some of us do it with our hands, and some of us do it with our words, and some of us do it with our looks, and our tastes, and our sense of touch, and smells, and sights, and everything else. Some of us do it with our drinking coffee, smoking cigarettes. Some of us do it with just hacking away at the guitar with a sound. I like this tune. Somewhere in the middle of it, there's a string and a finger and a hole of a guitar that is wide and clearly open. It doesn't have a goddamn thing to do with anything else. Look, it'd be more fun than that as far as I'm concerned. Whoever it was that thought of that idea of self-consciousness, man, what a bit of mischief that was.
How many guitars do you see there? Oh, fantastic. Win them.
And you wonder if that's all built up from the stress, or if they're not happy in their situation, they're not making the money that they could be making, or something is going on inside of them, so they have to be so hard to be hard. But I'm not understanding that. But I can see the front. I can see the pain behind the hardness. I can see the abuse as a child. I can see where he was left out on the inside. But then again, society put those images out there, so it's like you have to be hard, you have to be this way, you have to be this way, you have to be that way, you have to let them see your tough side, you have to let them see the man inside. To be the man, you have to release that emotion. It's like swimming in the ocean, trying to find that inner peace, trying to find that wave that fits you. So, I'm so tired of seeing brothers gotta be hard and try to be hard just to please the person that's next to them. Because if they're not that hard, then people will think they're soft, and that's the lost cause, because I'm not understanding that shit. Because if they bring out the internet, people will say, man, I thought you was tough, man, I thought you was... But But to release the emotions that are inside, that's how you prove to be hard. That's how you prove to be a real man. If you can let your emotions show and let the people see the glow that's inside of you, then you know. You don't have to be hard to be hard. But you have to be hard to be soft. To release the love that's deep inside you. So don't get caught up in that matrix of bullshit when they try to say that, yeah, man, you know, this is, you know, I gotta have this hard image on the outside. I gotta be mugging all the time. I gotta be like this all the time. And that's not reality, bro. That shit is insane. Because the stuff that's inside your brain, you can't release it, so you're building it all up inside. So the first time somebody bumps into you in the club, they're ready to die. Think about that shit. Release that shit and let it go.
But you can dance around like Thom, full of poetry. Temporal time, transcendental poetry. Before I go into the poem, I've always kind of wondered, you know, you have this unknown dimension called the universe. What did the universe, from what did it come from, you know? What is that dimension? And then you can go into it. What is time? When did it begin? When did it end? You know, there's so many things there is no answer. But anyway, this is temporal time, transcendental poetry. Empirical contemplative stages sharing neighboring time. In reigning tranquil temperance during the poetry of rhyme. Time continuum, divergence of cerebrum convergence. In temporal spectral symmetry, hemispheres of reflective intelligence. Universal gray matter, skeletal frames, within mental thought levitation, navigating celestial currents, within inner portal, PowerPoint meditation. Transvergent telepathy sears the core depth character of composition, composting the poetic philosophy makeup that bears writing worth sensations. Temporal poetry using frontal lobe, hemisphere extensions within mind faculties that germinate full spectrum brains to blossom forth full of cerebral capability upon interrelational spectrums of harmonic crystals. Divergence within dynamic significance, wherein the nirvana vision, temples dwell, temple time, transcendental poetry. This one is let's see. I'll wait for this one. This is going to be a fun one when I get it. It's going to be, when I get it done, it's going to be called Come On Everybody Do the Franklin Jig. So I'm going to shake, rattle, and roll up here when I get this thing done. And let's see this old fart stick with us. Writer's dwelling. Winter cold over decades. Paint peels off, memory layers. Home boarded up alone. Long time ago. To lay dormant is a writer's domain. Forlorn facade, weathered worn. In tears, being rained down hard upon. Over too many years, it yearns alone to await approaching footsteps. But to no avail, as nature's growth does take over. Waves choke hold upon a pristine, perfect rose garden. Fruit trees are studded with lack of pruning. Grapevines wither. Wine hot in shriveled dry raisins. As the reflected pool grows green in slippery slime. Once every 2 years, someone comes along to clear the brush and open closed windows. but alas, they leave the home mourning. In those creaks and moans that returns the sorrows. Alone it stagnates back inside its depositions. Time-coated dust that bears solemn accumulations. As a home decomposes within its solitary isolation. A writer's dwelling facade, abrasive silence that awaits occupied composition. Forbear somber presence that bears a past splendor, whereupon a writer's soul blooms. Poignant verse appears upon midnight transformations, sharing haunting poetry and shifting shade shadows, utters reincarnated recitations. Winter foreboding doldrums did sprout up this energetic hope, as workers finally paint the writer's dwelling with vivid spring colors, as the surrounding area is spruced out to share sunflower bright germination in creative artistic atmosphere. This poetic purification essential invigoration of a baptismal revival in an environmental spinning in vertical change. Writer's footprints ring aloud to approach the door for entry as the home new poet Lord, where everything around congeals inside artistic ability, wherein this writer's dwelling, it does sing a lively jig among the morning brisk breeze in this happy harmonic tense of welcome home, doormat greeting that invites the writer back home. And I hope the writers and poets come here in a Rudemeier reawakening.
What you got, Thom? What you got? I got the past, I got the present, I got the future. What you got? What you got? What you got? You got your life sliced up in front of you. Each page of the day, each song of the night, only comes once, like a bird in flight. Only comes down when it feels safe enough to reveal what's inside. There's a world of knives, streets of guns, foreign bombs, cities gone, wars go on. What you got, what you got, what you got? You got fear of flight. You got tonight. They can't take that away from you. What you hear, what you feel, what you see, what you do, they can't take that away from you. They can strip your skin and lie within and tell you advertising. But you don't have to believe their equalizing. What you got, what you got? You got your journey of the night. You got your dreams to take flight. You got the possibility of bliss being right. And even if you're wrong, you got tonight. You got tonight. And nobody can take that light away from you. What you feel, what you see, what you are, what you do is not entirely the whole of you, but it's yours. Nobody can take that from you. You got your stories, subterranean. You got your understanding, comprehension. You got your intuition and your energy. You got your way you want to set yourself free. You got the key. You got the key. You got the key. You got the time. You got the energy. And most of all, you've got tonight. And even though our time is parking meters, even though I've got to leave, even though time is like an outlaw or a burglar of all you were before you know that you own one thing, and that's your life, your stories that you sing that no one else knows, the way that you dream. When you wake up in the morning, you try to explain where you were on Tuesday evening. They won't believe you. You're at a poetry meeting? February 13th? I don't understand you, man. You're just saying you can take your mind off things. You can divert your attention. You can buy something. You can solidify. You can consumer by you. You can go to a strip mall and get stripped in the mall. You can objectify. You can transmogrify. You can buy. I don't understand why you want to listen and try to speak who you are when you can, while still possible before they rip your tongue out of you. And they say you have no right to speak. The Bill of Rights be taken away and the Miranda Doctrine doesn't weak. If you're driving in Austin, watch out for the APD. They're killers, man. They can kill anyone. But I digress. What is your gift? Bless the moment, consecrate the silence, have an antidote to violence, to be the homeopathic remedy to all that you see, that you do not agree with, the colours in the darkness, to be the light that sparkles, to be the visions in your own eyes, to ask questions of Cupid, why, where, who, and what made this universe, before us and after us. There will be cell phones, there will be texting, there will be distraction. They will take you away from your own dreams. But deep inside, there's one thing that you own, one thing they can't take away from you. And that thing is tonight.
Thought I'd talk about something else very dear to my heart, about what is beautiful. One of the most beautiful things I can think of, as Thom put it, is we know ourselves. That when we do make our coffee, this is what I mean by beautiful. We make our coffee, and it's up to us to put just the right amount of sugar in it. That's beautiful. Some of us will come to it and will say, oh, I want 2 teaspoons. Bullshit. You want 2 teaspoons and 5 grains. Women. That in itself, to me, is beautiful. No matter how they are. Old, young, fat, small, I don't care. They're all beautiful. Just, that's one big box. Women. I sit on this little porch of mine and have my coffee with 5 grains and my cigarettes or a pipe, whatever. And it looks out onto about 50 feet away another 3 stories worth of apartments. That's not beautiful. But about 100 yards away, there is a church that has a daycare. And the children play. They shriek, "Eee! Johnny's touching me!" Or they laugh. Or the way when you look at the moon off on done. That's beautiful. What harmony. Out of those doors, people will walk and go their merry way. Songs in their head that they made up or repeated. That's beautiful. That the nearest and dearest Trinity to me, and this is a recent discovery, because I've gone through the whole Trinity thing in many, many ways over. Francis, the Holy Ghost, Father, John, my God, left hand, right hand, me. That's the Trinity. That's beautiful. And you all got it. It's up to you. Epiphanal quiet. When it's so quiet, now you can keep playing. You can keep playing. when it's so quiet that all the birds become you. And you blend into the whole Scottish tongues, whatever I know, whatever. And you realize that all the words, the memes, the sounds, the beams, clothe, they keep you warm. And you can strip yourself bare every night at a poetry open night and every night of the week and lay it out on the table. The thing inside you, that is beautiful. I'm so glad that I have a taste. It's going to be like better than anybody else. But then I can taste it. I can taste the way one thing tastes better than another thing. The way that my taste lies. I prefer good movies to bad movies. I don't know why, but the fact is beautiful is beautiful. But I can distinguish between them. Because given the fact that there's just space and nothingness, you can't distinguish between like one film over another film. One went to the trash, go in the trash can. I've done that. Go in the trash can. Nobody should have to see that. But I digress. It is that brought this hand, this building together in this moment, so that we could all just sort of move around in our heads and enjoy ourselves.
Tomorrow morning, some of us will strip off the artistic self and put on the corporate face of defiance. The corporate face of defiance. Walk into an office, you don't really want to be there. Play into the whole corporate scheme of things. Well, what about the how's the mainframes and the network doing for the state of Texas? How's the DFPS, the EBT cards, how they run, blah, 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 blah. Oh, bullshit. So I go to work. And I'm sitting there at work, but I'm not really there, see, because I'm off daydreaming somewhere in Italy somewhere. Listening to gondolas play. I'm just chilling. Then all of a sudden, here comes that guy. You know that guy. Did you file the report? What report? Did you get the memo? You know that guy. That's the type of person whose like whole life is wrapped around his job. All of his friends are at work. has no outside communication whatsoever. So when I see people like that, I just let it go. Just let it go. See, we have to have some kind of release, whether it be poetry, music, meditation, some kind of release. Because if you don't have a release, then you'll get caught up into the whole robotic movement of society. You don't want to be like those guys. There's no curves in the road, you're just walking straight. You get up, you go to work, you go home, you go to bed. You get up, you go to work, you go home, you go to bed. Nothing's being fed. And then there's the other folks. Come to our church, join our congregation. I can't afford it, yo. That's a whole other story within itself. Can we just be free to be free? Like when I say be free, I mean just kind of like just do your own thing without outside influences. Like if everybody is wearing a black suit, just come out with a blue one and just be like, bruh, man, what? I did it. If somebody's rhyming this way, won't you rhyme that way? See, I remember back in the day when like everybody wanted to do poetry like Saul Williams. You remember that? All the poets were like, say clap, clap, and all the hand movements, and everybody was like, at every poetry reading, you would hear the same style of poem. It was like, dang, really? Another Saul Williams poem? There's only one Saul Williams. I remember those days. But see, this right here is free verse. Just kind of make it up as we go. Along with the music, set the mood, get into the groove. We may even make up a song or two. That's what we do. Find a time just to be you. Don't be influenced by other folks. Go outside in the wild and take a tour. Just be free. Just be free. I'm not gonna let society decide for me. Just be free. Just be free. See, I have 3 girls, right? One of them's 16, she runs track for McNeil High School. One's 19 and one's 20. 2 are in college. Okay? Now, I taught my daughters a long time ago to don't conform to what other people are doing, do your own thing. Okay? So they listen to music like 80s stuff, they're young, some 70s stuff that I had to teach them because I wanted them to know what real music was back in the day, So now, especially my 16-year-old, she goes to McNeil High, right? She knows all this old music and all these other kids, they're like bringing up, the latest artists and stuff like that. But then my daughter throwing here, do y'all listen to Will Downing? And the teacher called me one day. She was like, "Your daughter knows Will Downing?" I'm like, "Yeah." I taught her that when she was young, so she can like just have diversity, you know what I'm saying? She can listen to some smooth jazz and tell her friends so they can tell their friends so they won't be corrupted by the negativity that's going on in a lot of music today. I wanted her to be like an uplift, you know? And they were like, "Wow, man, it's pretty cool." And now I see my daughter now, you know, she's already ahead looking at college and stuff and things she wants to do and everything. She wants to be like her two older sisters who are in college. And I'm just like, man, I can't believe this. You know, I didn't go to college. I was in the military. Fighting for that, you know, that country thing. But you know, I did my time. But just to see my daughters grow and just, you know, watch them do their things, it's freaking amazing to me. You know, now she borrows a car, you know, "Daddy, let me take the car." And guess what? She'll go to a coffee shop. Yeah, right? You know, that's influence from Ruta Maya when I used to take them to poetry readings back in the day, when they were real little, running around and stuff, jumping all over things. But they was like listening to the poets, you know? And now to see my daughter just hanging out in coffee shops and jotting stuff down is crazy. Yeah. While the other kids are off doing other things, she's like searching. She's mind searching. You know, she's preparing for college and the next life. See what she's gonna do.
Yeah.
When you wake up from this dream, every word may be forgotten, but you will never forget what I was wearing this evening, which proves a singular point. This world is visual. It's no longer verbal. You can't trust radio, it's all franchised. Play a channel, clear that up for me. How many times can you listen to Led Zeppelin? And how many times can they recycle the Who? Even you who are soul people know that Marvin Gaye is rarer than hen's teeth. But when you wake up from this dream, there's another dream they're foisting upon you. They say that poetry is dead, and that all the poets you have to bow down to are dead poets. No, on the streets of Algeria, the front line of the Tunisian revolution was done by poets who put their poems on the city walls. When the Arab Spring happened, it was the poets who gathered in places like this and shared their dreams with one another, so the idea of liberation could be more than just words on a page. In every revolution, every evolution of consciousness, it's the poets, say the mystic poets of Kabir, Hassan, Layla, Mirabai, Rumi, or say the French poets, Guy de Maupassant, Mallarmé, Francois Villon, who lived in a brothel. Or maybe the English poets, all those English poets, T.S. Eliot, Sylvia Plath. Or maybe the American poets, Walt Whitman, Robert Frost, Carl Sandburg, who wrote Hog, Butcher of the World, Chicago, who wrote The People, Yes. What else do you call us, he says? We are the people, yes. We are not just a name or a number, we are the people, yes. And from the people come all things. And he traveled America with a banjo. He slept in haystacks doing his poetry. And that was in the 1920s. But there are poets long before us in our history. There are griots and there are storytellers, and we listen to them. But we know that they are just beginning, scratching the skin of the fresh new day we are experiencing. The 13th of February 2014, it's a visual and multimedia age for sure. And all this only makes sense when it's sent as an image on an iPhone to someone who tweets back, I know that man. He used to do poetry in a coffee shop run by my father. That happened 10 minutes ago. We're living in a time zone, the same time zone. It won't last long. Memory is not that strong. Short-term memory is almost gone. We live in a goldfish bowl, this world. But what we do have is the fact that you'll never be able to explain why a poet on stage at Spinner's Live dressed like a goldfish.
Just about right, but you don't realize it. And to illustrate, I'll just talk about a word that has kind of been disappearing that I want to kind of resurrect tonight. But before I bring that up, this word, I just think it's an excellent way to illustrate how sometimes English gives us both a definition and a warning, something to strive for. And this is as men, or rather, gentlemen. Now, if you're too gentle, then you're too soft. Then you might just be a friend. Maybe you'll crumble. You won't pull a job. That's if you're too gentle. If you're always a man, it's still not enough. You're always wearing an armor. You're always carrying a sword. Sword's not sheathed. You're always trying to chop something down, slice something up. So, back in the day, and one of the ultimate gentlemen was Mr. Bond himself. Gentle with the ladies that he hit, bang every in his movement. But he was a man at the time because he was also a spy. He could do these things. So I thought about the word gentleman, and I realized it was 9 letters. It's also 3 syllables. So whichever way you take it, gentle, 6 letters or 2 syllables, and man is 3 letters, 1 syllable. So you never want to be too gentle. You never want to be too much of a man. So you be a gentleman. Quite gentle. 1 part man.
Across celestial seas, drift beside me, my sweet angel, share my celestial magic music carpet, where we can sail together in essential mellow smooth melody as lovers sing in duets. Let us intertwine divine notes to weave our love together in ecstatic set woven words to create such static friction it thunders a magical harmony. Let us sail our verse adrift the celestial sea inside a divine tune of peace and tranquility. Let our voices sing under the stars, creating universal harmony. Let us intertwine divine notes to weave our love together in ecstatic set woven words to create such static friction it thunders a magical harmony. Let us use our magical music wand to cast a spell of love in people hugging each other, singing divine melodies upon angelic choruses, saying we must love each other across celestial seas. The transformation of the puddles. Let me create this magic inside you of images that float within your blessed mind. Let me make the transformation of my poetic pictures into your soul, to fly the sky in static charges, to storm into you in the power of words done so right. Let these words bounce around within you on breezes of your own thoughts to create the lightning to envision so much more. Let create the puddles to reflect from your own image. I looked into a puddle and seen my reflection which winked back at me. So, thank you. So curious a face first appeared as the wind blew a smile across it. Somehow in the years did not show up, how things seemed to have disappeared with this foundation of youth. As I watched, we became frozen in thought, and the wind blew away the remains, and I waited for spring to revive the image of one looking in for another reflection.
Now, y'all, thanks for coming out. It's like 10 something. Next Tuesday, we're going to be out here the same thing, same time. Just leave you with this one thought. If I only had a corner of your space, I would open up the windows to your heart, paint the walls, and glow in the dark images of my soul.